Hey there, welcome everybody here to the Monday night look back at a classic rock album here on Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So, I'm going to take the glasses off now. So we're here for a look back at a classic rock album. And the album we're going to be doing tonight is Marillion's Misplaced Childhood. And that art is fantastic, eh? Apparently, Fish, who is the vocalist for this band, also did the album cover. I think, did he draw it or did he picture it or how did he do it? I don't know. I like the back too. Always the little jester everywhere. Yeah. So that's the album we're doing tonight. Misplaced Childhood. I'm trying to get the right angle here. Misplaced Childhood by Marillion. Okay, so give you the vitals on the album first. So this album was released on June the 17th, 1985. Recorded at Hansaton Studio in Berlin, West Virginia. Yeah, okay. There's a Berlin in West Virginia, right? No. Berlin, West Germany. That's, yeah, before Germany was reunited. It had two parts, West Germany and East, for those of you who are surprised by that. I can't imagine anybody is, though. This is 41 minutes in length on the EMI Studio record label, and Chris Kimsey is the producer on the album. So the album features the members of Marillion, Fish on vocals, Steve Rothery on guitar, and he does have additional bass. I guess they have a couple of songs where they have additional bass on it, so he also plays on that. Mark Kelly on keyboards, Pete Traves on bass, and Ian Mosley on drums. So this was one of two Marillion albums I owned when I had vinyl. The first one, of course, was a script for A Jester's Tear, which I played quite a bit. This album I got towards the end of my vinyl collection. I only had it for less than maybe a month, and then it went off with my sister to the vinyl collection Hall of Fame, I guess. And I never really listened to it that much until I bought this version of it. And I have to say that this is a fantastic album. The more I listen to it, the more I want to listen to it. It's currently in my playlist, been there about almost 5 months, or maybe a little over 5 months now. Currently my favorite album on that list, beating out some pretty strong stuff that was occupying that niche for a bit, but definitely an album that it's not even close to coming out of the playlist. It's been about 5 months. It might get to 8 or 9 months out there. It's hard to say, but the more I listen to it, the more I like it. I'm going to put it down and start to weigh on my hands. The more I listen to it, the more I like it. It's kind of putting Marillion on the board for me here in a big way. Not that I hadn't been listening to them before. I always had. I also have Clutches, which I haven't been listening to it because it's not in my playlist and I only have so much time. So I usually listen to my playlist and whatever's new that I have to listen to. And occasionally when I'm driving I might put something on that I feel like. So anyways, this puts Marillion on the board. So now I have Marillion and IQ are kind of big with me. I would have said IQ was seriously my favorite of them, but I don't think so. It might be a toss-up. Anyways, we're going to talk about the album a bit now. I need my glasses so that I can actually read my notes. So you've got, I believe this has 10 tracks on it, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 10 tracks on it. So the first side of the album is very good. The back side of this album is fantastic. I absolutely love it. So you've got Pseudo Silk Kimono, which is the first track on it. A lot of synthesizers on this part, very dominated by synthesizers, and Fish's voice is very strong, very emotional on this particular track. And it also, the end of the song kind of leads into Kaylee, which is the big hit on the album. It's actually their only big kind of, I want to say it's a poppy hit, but even though it's got kind of poppy sound to it, it also still has a lot of that kind of progressive sound to it as well. The vocals are great on this track. I love the storyline. I think it's real catchy. Guitar solo was so catchy and so good. And I find that this particular song, I find Fish's vocals good in that he articulates very well on this track. He always kind of reminds me of Peter Gabriel, which makes sense because that's what the kind of sound I think they were trying to capture that early Genesis sound, and they did a great job. The next track up, Lavender, another great track, but this one's more dominated by the piano than it is by the guitar. Another catchy track with lots of it's almost reminiscent of a ballad, I guess, and kind of a ballady sounding song. I like the lyrics quite a bit as well. Then you have Bittersweet, which has it's in 5 parts: Brief Encounter, The Lost Weekend, Blue Angel, Misplaced Rendezvous, and Windswept Thumb. I'm not really sure what that means, but anyways, this is a strong track, but it's probably overall my least favorite on the album. It's forward to get some nice keyboards that give a lot of great atmosphere to the song. It's a bit of an ominous song in some ways, I guess. There's a part where he does a kind of talking part that kind of reminds me of the Necromancer from Rush. They don't really sound anything alike. It's just that voice, kind of just the way his voice is in the background, and it's kind of eerie sound. It kind of reminds me of Geddy's voice on that album, or actually that's probably Alex Lifeson doing those vocals on that. So yeah, or that voice on that. So yeah, it kind of reminds me of that. Yeah, this is a prog ridden track too. Lots of prog on this particular track, and the piano is really catchy as well. Then you have Heart of the Lothian. Is that how you say it? I think it's Heart of the Lothian. Wild Boy and Curtain Calls are the 2 parts. Really catchy rhythm beat. Really opens it up. That's what opens it up, and it's really catchy. And then you got the bass guitar and the drums, kind of just really adding to this flavor. The keyboard solo is excellent, and the vocals are pretty strong. Very climactic, very synthetic. It's very climactic, ending with a kind of a synthesizer key part. So that is the end of side 1, which I really think is a great side of an album. But the second side is even better, and so much so I think this is one of those perfect sides. There's no bad songs on this side of the album, and I love all 5 of them. So you got Waterhole, Espresso Bungo. I'm not really sure why it's called that. It's dark, it's ominous, there's lots of synthesizers here. The keyboards, drum part is so catchy. His vocals are almost menacing on this particular track, and I really like this track a lot. The next track up, I like even more. Lord of the Backstage. It's a little bit shorter. Both these tracks are kind of short, but I do like them both a lot. It's got that kind of Genesis sound to it at heart. I don't think it sounds like Genesis, but there's definitely that feel, that Genesis feel. And it is, of course, very reminiscent of Peter Gabriel's vocals in that era time period. It's a bit forward. The vocals are a bit forward on this song. I would say it's guitar driven for sure, and it has a whole bunch of little bits in it too that are really catchy. The next track is called Blind Curve, another 5-bit suite. I'll give you the bit suites off of the album if it gives them to me, and it doesn't, and so I might have to look inside. Sometimes these albums will do that. They'll just say it's a 5-part, but they don't tell you the parts. Okay, yeah, here it is. So you've got the Blind Curve, Focal Under the Blood Light, Passing Strangers, Milo, Perimeter Walk, and Threshold are the song. I love this picture of silky suit of the pseudo silk kimono. Song really good, and a nice shot of the whole boys here in this particular track. here they are, a little bit of an age time period. Yeah, a little bit. I'm just looking for this track here. I want to see something. So we're at boy, I wish I could remember how my brain works sometimes. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, yeah, we're on to Childhood's End, right? That's where we are. Oh no, we were doing Blind Curve, right? Yeah, Blind Curve. So it's got 5 parts to it, all broken up into nice lyrical parts. I think this is one of the longer tracks on the album. Yeah, it's 9:30, so it's almost the same as the opening track, but it's so good, so catchy, so much good stuff on this particular track. It's got this kind of upbeat guitar part too that I like. The drums and bass real catchy as well, but a little bit subdued overall, I would say. So the next song is Childhood's End, another song I like quite a bit. This may be my favorite track on the album. I like the upbeat tempo of the guitar. I love the drums and the bass. I love the real catchy beat. Yeah, very strong, emotional vocal performance here by Fish as well, and the lyrics are great. I keep trying to hear more of what he's saying. That's how I know I like the lyrics, is because if I'm listening to a song, I don't really care what the lyrics are. I'll sing along with it and I'm not paying attention, but if it catches my eye, I start listening intently. That's when you know I like it. The last track is called White Feather. This is a shorter track as well. Heavy beat with some strong guitar and synthesizer parts to it. Fish's vocals are very heavy here. It's another kind of Gabriel feel to it. His voice doesn't really overly sound like Peter Gabriel, but he does capture the inflections quite well, I think. So there you have it, Misplaced Childhood. This is the first of my reviews of a Marillion album. I haven't reclaimed the Script for Jester's Tear. That one I'm a lot more familiar with. It was my favorite Marillion album for obvious reasons, because it's the only one I really listened to. This one is real close, and then the Clutches I think I'm going to like even more. Funguzi, I'm not sure what it's pronounced. I haven't even seen that one yet, so I'm looking for it. And then of course there's a whole list of other Marillion stuff with Stephen Hogarth. Is that who it is? Stephen Hogarth doing vocals. I haven't really warmed up to that because the only one I've listened to is the one I own, which was the last one, which I had a hard time with. I didn't really like it. Kind of set me back a bit, but there you go. Marillion. Childhood's Misplaced. I was Childhood's End. Isn't that Arthur C. Clarke? Yeah. Misplaced Childhood by Marillion, not Childhood's End by Arthur C. Clarke. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, hit the subscribe button. It's much appreciated. If you got any comments about the album or your opinions or anything about the album that I didn't say that maybe you think should have been said, you can add them to the comment section below. So have yourself a good evening, and we will see you again. Take care. Bye.